Assalamu alaikum. Today's lecture includes the remaining part of the assessment of cardiovascular system. So today we will start with the auscultation of heart sounds. Normal heart sounds are S1, which is produced due to the closure of the mitral and tricuspid valves when the ventricles contract. It marks the beginning of the systole. The mitral is the major component, the tricuspid component is relatively quiet. Its maximum intensity is at the apex. S2, it is the second normal heart sound which is produced due to the closure of the aortic and pulmonic valve when the ventricle relax. It denotes the beginning of the diastole. The pulmonary component is localized to the pulmonary area while the aortic component is audible all over the precordium with maximum intensity at aortic area. Sounds produced at a particular valve are more clearly audible at a particular part of the precordium. For each valve, there is a different such sites and is named after that valve at that area. Mitral area corresponds to the apex, and tricuspid area is close to the lower part of the sternum at fourth intercostal space on the left side. Pulmonary area is where left second intercostal space close to the sternum, and two aortic areas are A1 and A2, right second intercostal space close to the sternum, and the second aortic area or Erb's point is at the left third intercostal space close to the sternum. As the diagram is clearly showing the aortic area second at the second intercostal space, right sternal border, and pulmonic area at the second intercostal space on the left sternal border, Erb's point third intercostal space left sternal border, and tricuspid area fourth or fifth intercostal space on the left sternal border. Mitral area or apex is on the fifth intercostal space left to midclavicular line. How to differentiate between S1 and S2 sound? To differentiate, palpate the carotid artery while auscultating. The sound which comes just before the carotid pulsation is S1, and the one that comes after the carotid pulsation is S2. Concentrate on S1 while auscultating at apex and tricuspid area, and concentrate on S2 while auscultating at aortic and pulmonic area. Extra heart sounds. These are S3. This occurs immediately after S2, thus called S3. S3 occurs when rapidly rushing blood flows from the atria is suddenly decelerated by the ventricle when it reaches its elastic limit. In a normal ventricle, this can happen with excessive volume of incoming blood, as can occur in the hyperdynamic states or volume loaded conditions. In children, young adults, and during pregnancy, it may arise from rapid flow of column of blood against the ventricular wall and is considered normal. With decreased compliance of the ventricle, for example congestive heart failure, a normal amount of blood entry during diastole can challenge ventricular elasticity and generate the sound S3. S3 can be physiologically present in persons younger than 40 years who often have a thin chest wall to permit the easy transmission of S3 sound. In the presence of heart failure, S3 is a bad prognostic sign. Giving the sound of a galloping horse, S3 is also called ventricular gallop. Patient's position to assess this sound is: it is best heard at the cardiac apex. Patient should be in the left lateral decubitus position for maximal auscultation of S3 sound. Use the bell of the stethoscope if it is a low pitch sound. Extra heart sound S4. This occurs at the end of the diastole just before the next S1, thus called S4. S4 occurs when there is an increase in the force of the atrial contraction. Situations in which rapid filling is reduced due to an impairment in ventricular relaxation can result in an increased atrial contraction. Chronic hypertension is the most common cause of a fourth heart sound. S4 is always pathologic and is termed as atrial gallop. Etiologies: left-sided hypertension, aortic stenosis, angina pectoris, and on the right side, pulmonary hypertension and pulmonic stenosis. To assess extra heart sounds, a position may be: it is best heard at the cardiac apex with the patient in left lateral decubitus position and holding his breath. Use bell to listen as it is a low pitch sound. Splitting of the heart sound. Usual splitting: as the right sided heart events, for example contraction of right atrium, opening of tricuspid valve, contraction of right ventricle, and relaxation, usually occurs slightly later than those on the left. Instead of a single heart sound, two distinct components are audible during inhalation, the first from the aortic valve closure and the second from the pulmonic valve closure. During exhalation, these two components are fused into a single sound. This is known as S2 sound. Splitting of the heart sound. During inhalation, S2 splits into its two distinctly audible components A2 and P2. The splitting of S2 is due to increased capacitance in the pulmonary vascular bed during inhalation, which prolongs ejection of the blood from the right ventricle, delaying closure of the pulmonic valve. Ejection of the blood from the left ventricle is relatively shorter, so A2 occurs slightly earlier. A2 is or aortic is normally louder, reflecting the high pressure in the aorta. It is heard throughout the precordium. And pulmonic is, in contrast, is relatively soft, reflecting the lower pressure in the pulmonary artery. P2 is heard best in its own area, the second and third interspaces close to the sternum. It is here second and third left interspaces that splitting of the second heart sound should be searched for. Fixed splitting. In atrial septal defect, blood flows from the left atrium to the right atrium. Thus, right-sided stroke volume is increased and P2 is delayed, resulting in wide splitting of the S2. As blood constantly flows from the left to the right atrium, the differential effects on respiration on stroke volumes of both sides of the heart is lost. Thus, the interval between A2 and P2 remains constant during inhalation and exhalation. Thus, this is known as splitting is fixed. Reverse splitting of the sound. If left ventricular emptying is delayed to the extent that closure of the aortic valve occurs after closure of the pulmonic valve, the effects of respiration on splitting of S2 is reversed. That is, it is more during exhalation and less during inhalation. This is known as reverse splitting of the sound. Causes are left bundle branch block and severe aortic stenosis. Sequence for auscultation are: begin with the diaphragm, note at each area rate and rhythm, identify S1 and S2, assess S1 and S2 separately, listen for extra heart sound, these are S3 and S4, listen for presence of any murmurs, and repeat all this procedure with using the bell of the stethoscope. Auscultate whole of the precordium starting from the apex, moving up along the left parasternal border to the pulmonary area and then to the aortic area. Patient be in supine position. Auscultate first with diaphragm and then with the bell. For pulmonary area and aortic area, patient should sit up and lean forward and use the diaphragm. For murmur of pulmonary regurgitation, patient should hold breath in inspiration, while for murmur of aortic regurgitation in expiration. Look for the following while auscultating heart sounds. S1, its maximum intensity is at the apex. S2, its pulmonary component is localized to pulmonary area, while aortic component is audible all over the precordium with maximum intensity at the aortic area. S1 comes with carotid pulsation, while S2 comes after carotid pulsations. Opening snap. In mitral stenosis, if valve leaflet motion is restricted, the mitral valve opening may produce a sharp, high-pitched sound soon after the S2, called opening snap, with maximum intensity medial to the apex. Ejection systolic click. These are sharp systolic sounds produced due to the opening of the abnormal aortic and pulmonic valves and are heard soon after S1. The aortic click is best heard at A1 area and apex, while pulmonary click is best heard at the pulmonary area. In aortic and pulmonary valve stenosis, the ejection systolic click may be present. Mid-systolic click, a sharp sound produced in mid-systolic due to the mitral valve prolapse. Pericardial rub, a superficial scratchy sound audible both in systole and diastole due to the rubbing of the two surfaces of the pericardium in the pericarditis. It is prominent at the left lower sternum. Rub usually disappears once pericardial effusion has developed. Carotid bruit. This is a sound similar to murmur but that is produced outside the heart. It may be either due to excessive blood flow, for example in thyrotoxicosis, or narrowing of a vessel, for example atherosclerosis. Venous hum, a continuous murmur-like sound audible in the neck due to kinking of the larger neck veins. It is most common in children. Murmurs. Murmurs are abnormal sounds of longer duration as compared to normal heart sounds. Any of the following mechanism may be responsible. Velocity of the blood increases across a normal valve, for example due to exercise or thyrotoxicosis. On the second, flow of the normal amount of blood across a narrowed valve. This is due to aortic or mitral stenosis. And on the third, structural defect in the valves or an unusual opening occurs in the chambers. This is due to atrial septal defect and ventricular septal defect. Backflow of the blood across abnormal valves. This is due to aortic regurgitation and mitral regurgitation. All these are maybe causes of the murmur. Systolic murmurs are of two types. Pansystolic, it starts with S1 and goes up to or beyond S2. Mitral and tricuspid regurgitation and ventricular septal defects are the cause. And ejection systolic murmur, it starts slightly after the S1 and ends before S2. The reason may be aortic and pulmonary stenosis. Mid-diastolic murmur, it is audible in the middle of the diastole and the reason may be mitral and tricuspid stenosis and atrial septal defect. Early diastolic murmur, it is audible soon after S2 sound and the reason are aortic and pulmonary regurgitation. Grading of murmurs. Murmurs are graded according to their intensity. Use a V1 point grading scale and record it as a fraction, that is 1 by 6th or 2 by 6th. Grade 1, audible with great difficulty in a quiet room. Grade 2, clearly audible but not very loud. And grade 3, moderately loud, easy to hear but without any thrill. In grade 4, the murmurs are loud, associated with a thrill and palpable on the chest wall. In grade 5, the murmurs are very loud, audible even with one corner of the stethoscope lifted off the chest wall. And in grade 6, murmurs are heard with entire stethoscope lifted off the chest wall. Site of maximum intensity. A murmur may be audible all over the precordium depending upon its loudness, but its maximum intensity is at its sites of origination. For example, murmur of mitral regurgitation is loudest at the apex, while that of the tricuspid regurgitation is loudest at its own area. This is all about the assessment of the cardiovascular system. Thank you so much.